Throughout the last decade and a half of Ninjago, we've definitely seen our fair share of magical, exotic, and awesome Ninjago weapons. So in this video, I'm going to be ranking the top 5 Ninjago weapons, focusing specifically on blades and swords and that kind of stuff. But if this video gets to 300 likes, I'll make a part 2 focusing on other stuff. Anyway, make sure to like and subscribe. Let's get right into it. Starting off with number 5, here I have the Sword of Sanctuary. For those of you who don't know, the Sword of Sanctuary's basic ability is that reflected in its blade is your opponent's next move. Now that is a pretty awesome ability in my opinion. Obviously knowing your opponent's next move in battle is a huge plus. It allows you to better develop your strategy to counter their moves, but this sword does have a pretty big weakness in my opinion. That is, you do actually have to look at the blade to see your opponent's next move, and if you're in like very intense sword combat or hand-to-hand combat, I imagine it might not be all that useful because it does take a lot of time to like actually look at the sword and see your opponent's next move. And other than the sword's reflective ability, it is just a regular sword, so it does have that cool ability where you can see your opponent's next move, but all in all, it's not that amazing of a sword if you don't count that, but it is still pretty powerful. Going on to number 4, here I have the Jin Blade. The Jin Blade's another pretty awesome sword in my opinion. Its basic ability is that you can trap souls in it by just hitting people with it. That is pretty awesome, you know, if you land one blow on your enemies, like they'll be sucked into your sword. But this sword again has another pretty big weakness. This time, this sword is pretty useless for like long distance combat. It can't like shoot any beams out of it or anything like that. If you're fighting long distance, this sword is basically just a regular sword. But if you can get close to your opponent and strike them with it, this sword's pretty powerful. Going on to number 3, here I have the Time Blades. And the Time Blades are some of the most unique Ninjago weapons you've ever gotten, and some of the strongest too. They're basically infused with the elemental powers of time, and time is one of the most powerful elemental powers, so that already makes these blades insanely powerful. You have the red Time Blade, which can pause time. You have the yellow Time Blade, which can reverse time. You have the blue Time Blade, which can slow down time, and the green Time Blade, which can speed up time. All of these are incredibly powerful on their own, but if you have like 2 or more of them working together, you're bound to be extremely powerful, which is why I think these weapons are extremely strong. Going on to number 2, here we have the OG elemental blades from back in season 2. Now these blades again are infused with the elemental powers of the original 4 ninja. These things are pretty close to the 4 original golden weapons, though I don't think they're as strong in my opinion. However, they are definitely pretty strong. They were able to counter the stone army, which was said to be indestructible, so that's definitely a huge plus. Also, the fact that they're infused with the original 4 elemental powers again gives them a huge advantage. So definitely some of the strongest blades we've ever seen. Going on to number 1 for this video, we have the golden weapons. We were originally introduced to them in like the first episode of Ninjago, I believe, and they still haven't been topped in my opinion. They were used by the first Spinjitzu master to like literally create Ninjago, which is again a huge massive feat if weapons can literally create realms. These golden weapons also represent the original 4 elemental powers: fire, ice, earth, and lightning, and they can do a lot of cool stuff. Like for example, when Garmadon welded them all together in season 2, they gave Garmadon the power to create like literally anything, which is just the most OP power ever. So to be honest, these weapons, they might even have stuff that we don't fully know of yet. These weapons are awesome and they're gonna be number 1 on my list. So that's all I have for you guys today. It is a bit of a shorter video today. I don't think I ever mentioned this, but thank you for 5,000 subscribers. We reached it just a couple of weeks ago, and I'm incredibly grateful for all of your support. Anyway, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.